Hello, my name is Mary Ann Nichols. My maiden name is Walker. People also refer to me as Polly. This is my story.
Well, I think I'll start here. This is my beloved husband William and I on our wedding day on January 16th, 1864. It was bloody freezing, I can tell you. William warmed me up though.
Well, we got straight down to business, know what I mean? Ha! This is our first little sprog, Edward John. What a beautiful little bundle of joy he was. There was no messing about with us. This is our second boy, our little Percy. We had 3 more after these, little Alice, Eliza and Henry. These were happier times, obviously. This was the year 1880. William and I split up. I admit that I had a severe drink problem, but that bastard had it away with a nanny who helped us with our last baby. No wonder she couldn't do enough.
You've been drinking again.
It's your fault, you two-timing bastard!
By September of that year, this is where I ended up, picking oakum out of old ropes. This was Lambeth Workhouse, and I resided there as well. By 1882, I found myself resorting to the world's oldest profession. This had to happen to help feed me drinking habits. You can understand that this was no life for anybody, but when you have a drinking problem, you'll do anything. I stumbled my way through life, drinking, soliciting and working bleeding hard. It wasn't until April 1888 that I had a very fortunate opportunity come my way. The problem is, I even balls that up as well. It was the 12th of May, 1888. I started working for Mr. and Mrs. Cowdrey. Lovely people. They were called Samuel and Sarah. They lived at a place called Ingleside on Rose Hill Road in Wandsworth.
Welcome, young lady. Now, we are very busy people, but first allow me to show you to your quarters.
Here are your quarters, Mary. I trust that you will find this room more than adequate for your needs.
Oh, many thanks, my lady. I feel spoiled rotten.
Please feel free to come and join us downstairs after you have unpacked all your things, Mary, okay?
Yes, my lady. Thank you very much. I think I am going to be really happy here. Well, sorry about that. The acting was really bad, wasn't it? It was the best Pemby could do, okay? Stop bleeding complaining. Let's get on with my story, okay? I can't for the life of me understand why I got so fed up with this life and I chose the path I went on. If I didn't do what I did, then maybe I could have lived way beyond 1888. Maybe I could have seen what the next century was like. I'd just write to say you'll be glad to know that I'm settled in my new place and going on all right up to now. My people went out yesterday and have not returned, so I'm left in charge. It is a grand place inside, with trees and gardens back and front. All has been newly done up. They are teetotalers and religious, so I ought to get on. They are very nice people and I have not too much to do. I hope you are all right and the boy has work, so goodbye for the present. From yours truly, Polly. Answer soon, please, and let me know how you are. All this housework, I don't know if I can continue working for these people. They treat me right though, but I must go. I have to try and get a few souvenirs before I do one. I don't know what I'm doing, but it feels right.
I feel awful, but it is time I moved on.
They won't miss these things I took, surely. A few dresses and stuff. I know a place on Froll Street called Wilmot's. They'll take me in there, 'cause they only have females. I better get me skates on.
Nothing to see, girls, coming through. Go on, at me bleeding way. You not seen a bird with a suitcase before?
Well, I've made my bed. Now I've got to lie in it.
From the 24th to the 30th, I moved into the White House, 56 Flower and Dean Street, Spitalfields. It was the end of the month and I was at my lowest ebb. I didn't have a clue where this was all gonna lead.
I gotta get my DOS money! Come back with me, Polly. I spent all my money on drink.
That was my best mate Emily. I should have listened to her. I had a new bonnet which I was sure would get me some easy money. To say my next client was a bad one is a severe misunderstatement. Well, unfortunately, this is where my story ends, and we don't want to go into too much detail, but I was unlucky enough on this night, August 31st, 1888, on Bucks Row, Whitechapel, to bump into a vicious killer known to history as Jack the Ripper. Thank you for listening to my story. All the best. Polly.
Hello, my name is Annie Chapman. I was born as Eliza Ann Smith on the 25th of September 1840. I died at the hands of the infamous Whitechapel murderer that everyone knows as Jack the Ripper on the 8th of September 1888. This is my story.
This is me and my husband John. We were so happy back then.
Like everything good in life, and even though we had 3 kids, things didn't pan out too well, especially as my little boy was disabled, and by the time he was 2 years old, my little girl Emily died of meningitis. This is where life kicked us both in the teeth. It didn't help when both of us couldn't leave the drink alone. I was way worse than him, though.
You can't leave it alone, can you?
Well, in 1884, John and I decided to go our separate ways. He stayed in New Windsor due to his reclining health, but he had to pay me 10 shillings a week as I went to live in Whitechapel. Over the next 2 years, I resided in various lodgings in Whitechapel and Spitalfields. By 1886, my ex John sadly passed away, and that was the beginning of my slide.
The factory foreman was angry again today.
I hope there's enough bread left.
My feet ache from the walking.
During these 2 years, I got friendly with this geezer who made wire sieves for a living. I'd become known as Annie Civvy. Problem is, the idiot didn't want to know me when my allowance stopped at the end of 1886. From 1886 to 1888, I went from here to Notting Hill, then back to Whitechapel. Crossingham's lodging house at number 35 Dorset Street to be exact. From 1886 to 1888, I went from here to Notting Hill, then back to Whitechapel. Crossingham's lodging house at number 35 Dorset Street to be exact. By June 1888, I could afford 8p a night for a double bed. My friend Edward helped me out there, ha ha. I also supplemented my income by selling flowers, and of course, I also had to resort to selling myself. Know what I mean?
At the end of August and early September, I got friendly with this geezer called Harry. Only problem was that bleeding Eliza Cooper fancied him and all.
You had my bleeding soap! Give it back!
After this, I got really sick, and I only heard a little bit about that murder on Bucks Row and didn't think any more of it. Little did I know what was to come on the 8th of September 1888. Well, I was dying anyway. Thanks for listening to my story.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Stride. I was born Elizabeth Gustafsdotter in rural Sweden in 1843. I moved to the East End of London in 1866. This is my story.
I went through various lodgings in different jobs in the East End until I married my partner John on the 7th of March 1869. We owned our own coffee shop and were quite comfortable. In 1875, John and I had to sell our coffee shop, and by 1877 we were no longer together. I had to find my own way.
Around 1881, John and I attempted to try again, and we lived together briefly, but by the end of the year we separated for good.
In the December, I was seriously ill with bronchitis. In early January, I was discharged, and I found myself on Flower and Dean Street looking for lodgings. We move on to 1885, and I met Michael Kidney. We lived together on Devonshire Street, but the relationship was very turbulent.
Anders, din jävla jävel! Du har en liten pinne!
In 1885 and 1887, we split up several times before I went back living with him in 1887.
Värdelösa engelska idiot!
Speak English, you retarded bitch!
He assaulted me, but I did not want to take it to court. We continued on and off until 1888.
Den här ölen smakar piss! Ta dina jävla händer från mig, din fula jävel!
I was thrown out of all the pubs in Whitechapel. Please excuse my bad language. Even though I was swearing in Swedish, every time I was in court, I called myself Annie Fitzgerald. I was in court 8 times, haha.
Din gin smakar hästpiss. Den här puben luktar skit.
Many times, Liz. I am not going to feed your drinking habits any longer.
It was a never-ending cycle. Drunk, sober, arrested, charged, and making up with Michael, and then pissing him off again.
Ni är bara ett gäng fula, gamla, feta jävlar. Era jävla stinker, gå ifrån mig!
What the hell is that mad woman saying?
Once again, I apologize for my language. I hope there are no Swedish people watching. It was the 26th of September 1888, and I once again split from Michael. I moved into 32 Flower and Dean Street. I earned my way by cleaning for both my accommodation and for local residents' homes. On the evening of the 29th of September, I decided to smarten myself up. At 6:30 p.m., myself and my friend Elizabeth Tanner visited the Queen's Head pub on Commercial Street. By the time the morning of the 30th of September came around, I found myself in an altercation which resulted in my death. Thank you for listening to my story.
Hello, my name is Catherine Eddowes. I was born in Wolverhampton on the 14th April 1842. This is my story. By 1857, both my parents passed away. I ended up back in Wolverhampton. Here is where I was living with me auntie. My employer fired me and I ended up staying with my uncle Thomas in Birmingham. Then back to Wolverhampton to live with my grandfather. Then guess what? I moved back to bloody Birmingham. This is where I met my future husband, Thomas Conway, in either 1861 or 62. Not quite sure which. Memory like a sieve. By 1863, Thomas and I welcomed the first of our 3 kids into the world, little Catherine Ann Conway. By 1867, baby number 2, little Thomas Lawrence Conway. By 1873, baby number 3, little Alfred George Conway. I had more kids, but sadly 2 of them passed away at a young age. By this time, me and Thomas had already moved to Westminster in London, and I was turning into an alcoholic. Then, by 1880, Thomas and I split up. This was the beginning of my slide down into alcohol, prostitution, and extreme poverty. By 1881, I met John Kelly. We were both staying at 55 Flower and Dean Street, Spitalfields. He sold fruit and veg on the market. I got drunk a lot, and the deputy at the lodging house was well annoyed, I can tell you. I got cleaning and sewing jobs for the Jewish community in Brick Lane, Whitechapel. Me and John in summertime went hop picking as well.
Times were getting really hard, and I had to ask my sister Elizabeth if I could borrow some money.
You take care of yourself, Catherine.
How did I get in such a mess?
Sometimes I was unsuccessful and I had to sleep in a really rough front room at 26 Dorset Street. The locals called it the shed. By September 1888, John and I still did odd jobs in Kent, hop picking. While we were down in Kent, John and I became acquainted with a woman called Emily Birrell and her common-law husband. We all ended up sleeping in a bloody barn. When John and I got back to London, we stayed at the casual ward at Shoe Lane in the City of London.
We're here, Kate. Let's go inside.
This was the 27th of September 1888, and we only spent one night here. Then I stayed at the Mile End Casual Ward and John stayed at 52 Flower and Dean Street.
Just for one night, okay, Kate?
I don't know, it's not that simple.
The following day at the Mile End Casual Ward, I was speaking to the superintendent about various things, and he mentioned that bloody awful Ripper. I thought I know who he was, and I was intending to claim the reward on the bastard.
I'm gonna claim the reward on the Ripper.
I know who he is.
I had intended to borrow some money from my daughter again, but I ended up drunk and unconscious outside 29 Aldgate High Street and got myself bleeding arrested.
Excuse me! Love, you can't sleep here!
Oi! Get your hands off my tits!
I grabbed the chance to get some sleep, and by the time I awoke, I had sobered up a bit, and the coppers released me into the night.
All right, good night, old cock.
Well, this is me talking to a very bad man. I think you know the rest.
Hello, my name is Mary Jane Kelly. I was born in Ireland in 1863. I deserve to be remembered for my humanity, just like all the other ladies who were slain by that evil monster. Here is my story. We go back to a few years ago. I was working in the West End, entertaining gentlemen. Don't let 'em fool you, they had plenty of skevishins in their closets, let me tell you. They were all cheating on their wives because thought that money could get them absolutely everywhere. They were some dirty bastards who thought they were so superior. Wealth is no guarantee of being a good person.
Fresh greens, carrots and leeks. Apples, fresh today. Best veg in the market.
Hello there.
Morning to you.
Good day to you.
And to you, miss.
Hello, young lad. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women!
Yes!
We Irish girls don't take any shite.
That's it! That's up! That's it!
We are fucking pissed as bars!
Jesus!
We have those dirty bastards eating out of the palms of our hands!
Yes!
As you can see, my drinking habits made this period of success very short-lived, I'm afraid. In 1887, I met my partner, Joseph Barnett. He was a lovely man who worked as a fish porter at Billingsgate Market.
Careful now, lads. Fresh catch here. You'll never guess who I met today. Who? Another fishwife? No, a beautiful Irish girl. Hair like fire and a smile that could light up the docks. Sam, my new girl is proper naughty. Oh yeah? Mine's a right tease. Bet yours can't match mine in the bedroom. Is that a challenge? You're on.
Typical men, eh? Dirty bastards. Anyway, this was February 1887, and we both resided at various lodgings in the East End of London.
Blimey, Mary, ain't this a right proper East End buzz?
It's wonderful, Joseph. So full of life.
Not as lively as you, love.
Flatterer. I love our walks.
Me too, darling.
On our second meeting on the 9th of April 1887, we decided to live together.
Mary, let's live together.
Joseph, are you mad? We can't.
We can. You only live once.
But what will people say?
Let them talk. I love you.
Oh, Joseph.
There was no messing about with us. We stayed at lodgings at George Street, then later at Little Patermaster Row, but were soon evicted for non-payment of rent and drunk and disorderly conduct. We were a right pair of pissed-up farts.
No, it means no lodging, you peasants!
Fuck off, you fat bastard.
We ended up staying in Brick Lane, and we stayed there until February 1888. We then settled in a small room just off Dorset Street, number 13 Miller's Court.
I love you, Mary, but I am not happy that you continue to sell yourself.
What choice do I have? I do what I must to survive.
There's always a choice, Mary.
Not for me.
You insist on letting those dirty women stay in our room.
They've nowhere else to go. What would you have me do?
I won't have it. Our home, not a bloody shelter.
They're my friends.
If you insist, then I will have to stay somewhere else.
I have to help them. They are my friends, Joseph.
The papers are full of it, Mary. The Rippers terrorizing Whitechapel.
It's dreadful, Joseph. The fear in the streets is suffocating.
They say the police are useless. We're on our own.
Promise me you'll be careful. I couldn't bear it.
Mary, them Ripper murders. You can't be on the streets.
I know, Joseph, but I have to work.
It's too dangerous. I can't lose you.
I can handle myself. Don't you worry.
Mary, these Ripper murders have me worried sick. You can't keep sheltering them.
Joseph, I can't turn them away. They have nowhere else.
But it's too dangerous. You could be next.
I won't hide in fear.
Please, Mary, promise me you'll be careful. Mary, I worry for your safety. We must consider leaving.
Joseph, I trust we'll be protected, but I understand your fear.
It's not just fear, love. It's the dangers here. We must
And we'll decide together.
I won't be apart from you.
You must be careful. These are dangerous times. I know, but what can we do? It's Jack the Ripper. You can't go out alone. I promise, I'll be careful.
Well, I was never any good at practicing what I preach, and I paid for it with me life.
Please, for the love of God, find this man so we can all rest in peace.
We will never starve. We will always be free. We are in a better place. Thank you for watching.